Alan, Clayton, congratulations. You both made it through to the final round. When you showed up at this forge, you used our tools and equipment to forge signature blades in your own style. Now we're sending you back to your home forge, where you will have 5 days to forge an iconic weapon from history. The boar spear.
Developed as early as 700 AD in Europe, the boar spear was forged for both combat and hunting. Known at the time as a bar spear, the weapon was about 5 to 6 feet long and featured a pair of lugs below the leaf-shaped blade. When hunting, the lugs would stop a speared boar from running up the length of the weapon and attacking the user. In combat, the lugs could be used to hook and pull away enemy shields. The blade of the spear could be decorated, with some featuring finely engraved scenes of hunts. On the first season of Game of Thrones, King Robert Baratheon carried a boar spear on his final boar hunt.
Good luck, bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Day 2, I really need to figure out the design of the lugs.
Boars are pretty strong animals, so if they don't have a wide enough cross-section, they could just end up running that through their body themselves. One of the ways I could do it is cutting a section of the pipe out and bending it out. It's gonna take a lot of work, but it's something that needs to be done. I'm battling the clock on this one.
I've decided to put my lugs perpendicular to my blade. It just made more sense to have them perpendicular
To stop the spear from over-penetrating.
It should work.
It's day 3. Time's really crunched. I'm just really behind the 8 ball, getting the lugs on the spear shaft. Oh, man. I believe my blower has just died. My forge burnt out, the engine died. Now I'm gonna have to find a replacement. There's still a lot to do. I am literally running to the store to buy another blower. Things just really are not going my way today. My forge burnt out, the engine died, had to run out and lose time. I had to get a new motor. With all these setbacks, I'm starting to be a bit worried. All right, it works. With the way things have been going today, we're coming down to the wire on time here. It could come back to bite me.
Bladesmiths, this is the sharpness test. To see how sharp your boar spears are, we will test the tip and the edge by stabbing and slashing through these sandbags.
All right,
Clayton, you're up first. You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Clayton, the balance of your tip lends itself to stabbing. Your edge lacerated cleanly on a moving sandbag. What surprised me was the positioning of your lug. Traditionally, they have it crosswise this way, but you have it this way. Because of that, it was hard to index when you're cutting through. But then again, it will cut.
Thank you.
Alan, you're next. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Alan, your spear feels good to hold on to. It was easy to index and know where the edge was, so that was a nice slash that I could penetrate through. And in the thrust, it felt good in the hand.
All right.
I can see a little bow in your handle. But when we're talking about the sharpness test, this, sir, will cut.
All right.
Next up is a kill test. To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon can do, I will deliver lethal blows to this wild boar carcass. Dayton, you're up first. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Well, Clayton, your boar spear right here did very well on the thrust, penetrating all the way through on the low line and on the high line. On the edge, it lacerated cleanly, and testing the other side, it cut all the way through the spine. This, sir, will kill. Good job.
Thank you.
Alan, you're next. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this. Well, Alan, let's talk about your blade. On the thrust, it penetrated all the way through. On the laceration on one side of your edge, boy, wow, it almost sliced all the way through. On your other edge, it lacerated through the spine. This spear, sir, will kill.
All right.
Gentlemen, it's been said that the sword is the prince of all weapons, but the spear is the king. To test the strength of your boar spears, I'm going to load them into our air cannon here and fire them into this wooden target.
Oh, my.
We'll see how deep it penetrates, how well it holds up, and if it holds up while I remove the spear from the target.
Awesome.
Clayton, you're up first. You ready?
I am.
In 3, 2, 1. Well, Clayton, your spear really dug in deep. It went in about 4 inches. Came out fine. Everything's still tight and dialed in. This is interesting being offset.
Being that it's a boar spear, I wanted to make sure that whatever laceration the blade produced on the animal wasn't wide enough to allow the wings to come through. And the best way to do that was just make them perpendicular.
All right, nicely done.
Thank you.
Alan, you're up. A little warp in your shaft. I'm picking it up in the tube there, so hopefully it will all fly well. All right, in 3, 2, 1. All right, Alan, that buried itself quite nicely. Went into about, there again, about 4 inches deep. Like the leaf shape on this. I like the fact that you hand hammered the socket. I was kind of worried when I put this in our machine that slight warp in your shaft there would bind up, but not a problem. Good job.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, both of you have turned in fantastic boar spears. However, in this arena of competition, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. Alan, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion.
Congratulations.
You did awesome.
Clayton, please surrender your weapon.
Right now, obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed, but this is the first spear I made, and for me, it's really important that it was such a tight race. I don't want it to be anything that I handed him or anything that he would have handed me. Alan is a deserving champion.
Alan, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion, and with that comes a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know what I really appreciate about that is the fact that you took the time to actually hammer that cone out. Making that socket is a really nice touch on any kind of traditional spear. So well done.
I am the Forged in Fire champion. I cannot believe it. I had no idea if it was going to be me or him, and it was me. I'm betting being a Forged in Fire champion is going to help this stay-at-home dad / knife maker convince a few people that they should try out my blades. That's great.
Bladesmiths, congratulations. You've made it to the final round of this competition. Now it's time to send you back to your home forges to recreate this iconic weapon from history. The boar sword. Good luck. We'll see you in 4 days.
Good job, man. So it's day one. Excited to get to work on this boar sword, ready to knock it out. I've never made anything this big. It's gonna be an interesting build. Swinging this 4-pound sledge is getting heavy already. My game plan for today is to get at least half of the sword forged out. I wanna get those curves established. It's definitely interesting hammering those waves in there because the blade will want to walk sideways. And so having to bring it back to establish that edge-to-edge straightness, it's difficult. I was hoping to be able to get a little bit farther along than what I did, but I think it's going pretty well.
Bit of a geometry dilemma here in that I'm hitting the ceiling before I can hit the blade on the grinder. So I'm gonna have to either take some extra wood out here, make a cutout here. I can't underestimate the size of this blade. I gotta be really careful while I'm trying to grind it in my tiny little shop. Perfect. So after cutting away a bit of the table and a bit of the roof, it seems to be working now. So just finished forging up the crossbar, so it's time to quench. If this goes well, I'll be set up really well for the rest of this competition. If it goes poorly, the opposite. This crossbar is making it a lot more difficult than I was anticipating to get this whole blade hot. Fortunately, it should be okay still. Here we go. That's the sound I wanted to hear.
Today I hope to accomplish the heat treat. This is the biggest thing I've ever heat treated. I've got a forge that I'm borrowing from a buddy of mine. It's a 5-burner forge, and it's normally laid down, you know, laying perpendicular. I've got it standing up, and so this is the first time I've used it in this fashion. I hope it works for me. I'm gonna take my forge and set up underneath. That way I get a normal heat treat all the way from the blade tip to the tang. This heat treat process is the most critical part. If you don't have the heat treat process down right, then all you have is a blade-shaped object. You know, it's not gonna stay sharp. So I gotta get this heat treat done. It has to happen today. It's go time. If it doesn't go right, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I do have a slight warp. We're good. I'm out of the woods, but still have some work to do.
So I was tempering last night with a torch and screwed the pooch a little bit and got way too hot on my blade. So I've lost a lot of hardness and I'm gonna have to re-quench. Never done a torch tempering before, and I guess that's what I get for my lack of experience. A second quench is just additional risk. Every time you quench, there's a risk of extra warping, of a crack, a broken blade. It is quite a setback. If this quench fails, I may be forced to start over from scratch. Here we go. It's definitely hard. Disaster averted for now, so long as I can get the tempering right on my second try. This time around, I'm gonna be really slow, really careful, and I've got my heat gun right here pointing at this blade the whole time. If it goes above 350 degrees, I'm gonna immediately pull the torch and make sure that I don't over-temper this blade again. The deed is done. This should be a strong, hard blade now. I'm gonna move forward, put a handle on this, polish it up, and turn it into the judges.
It's the start of the last day. It's raining like a cow pissing on a flat rock outside, so we're working on the handle and the pommel, and just a little bit of cleanup and sharpening, and we're done. Now I'm gonna go into shaping. That feels good and balanced right there. The farther along I got in this build, the more confident I became in the weapon. I didn't have enough time to test it, but I'm confident that it'll pass. Ladies and gentlemen, the bore sword.
All right, bladesmiths, to test the lethality of your boar swords, I will deliver thrusts and cuts on this boar carcass. John, you're first. You ready for this?
Absolutely.
All right, John. First up, I like the balance. I like that I can put 2 hands in it. It's all void enough to where I can hold on and I can tell where the edge is. And when we're pushing and thrusting as it's meant to be, the tip is sharp enough to thrust all the way through. Your edges, as you can see, are sharp enough to cut pieces out of this boar carcass. Overall, sir, it'll kill.
Thanks, sir. Congrats. Thanks, man.
All right, Isaac, your turn. Are you ready for this?
Let's make some bacon.
All right, Isaac. First up, it's much lighter. So it's easier to control when you're moving with the blade. And as you can see, when I was thrusting in there, the point you have here, the edges are very sharp. It thrusts all the way in. And even when it hits bone, it's got a very good flex to it. Did not pick up a bend. Overall, sir, your bore sword will make bacon and kill.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, it's time for the strength test, the sheet metal stab. Now, to test the strength and overall construction of your blades, I'll be stabbing into the sheet metal. But this test is not about what your blades do to that target. It's about what that target does to your blades. Jonathan, you're here first. You ready?
Absolutely.
All right, Jonathan, your blade is still sharp, pretty much all the way to the tip. Now, the tip did get flattened a little bit, but that was a very, very acute tip that you had on there. All in all, it's a comfortable weapon. It's certainly held up beautifully. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, Isaac, you ready for this?
As ready as I'm gonna be. There's definitely a significant bend.
All right, there's a good flex in your blade, which we saw in an earlier test. But when you quenched this blade, I'm assuming right in here somewhere was where that quench stopped. So this is not really solid right here. You did lose your tip up here, but your edges held up. It's still sharp, but you can just see there's an obvious issue with that bend there.
All right, bladesmiths, this is the sharpness test. To find out if there's any sharpness left on your tip and edges, I will take your weapon and stab and slash at this deer hide. Now, unlike the strength test, this is all about what your blade will do to this deer hide. John, you're first. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, John. Looking at the tip here, I can see where it flattened out. It took a little bit of effort to be able to puncture through, but it did. Your edges are still sharp. The cuts are clean. Overall, sir, you'll cut.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Isaac, your turn, sir. You ready?
I am. That's about what I expected.
I straightened it.
Oh, did you?
The damage to your tip on the strength test really took it out. There is no tip to this anymore. I can put my finger on that. But the edge of your blade on both sides, as you can see, cut all the way through. Now, the interesting thing to note is that all that bending actually straightened your blade. Overall, sir, beautiful cut.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, the judges have deliberated right here on the forge floor. They've made their final decision. Isaac, your blade didn't make the cut. Your blade took a bend in the strength test. And for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
The end-all be-all of this test was the fact that I couldn't get a full heat treat all the way up and down my blade, and that's what sent me home. I made it to second place, and regardless of the result of this whole thing, it's been the best birthday present I've ever gotten.
Well, Jonathan, it would appear that warrior ethos runs deep in you because not only are you an active duty Marine, you are also the Forged in Fire champion. That's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
Thank you. Being Forged in Fire champion, it feels great.
Good job, brother.
Thank you. It's a boost of confidence. It's not the big things that really matter. It's the little things, the attention to detail that make a big difference.